Thank you very much, Chairperson. At this juncture, may I please invite the Vice Chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Ms. Janet Love, to render their closing remarks, please.
Thank you, Dr. Masuku, fellow Commissioner and Program Director. Your Excellency, President of the Republic of South Africa, the Honorable Cyril Ramaphosa, fellow Commissioners from the Electoral Commission, honorable guests, and in particular, His Excellency, Mr. Kikwete, ministers, members of the executive who have helped us along the way, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to all of you again, but a particular thank you on behalf of the Electoral Commission to you all. As noted by the Chief Electoral Officer, elections are a collaborative endeavor. And when that final whirlwind takes hold, the job of the Commission and all of its staff who give of themselves unstintingly, we can feel sometimes a little lonely. But as the results unfold and the will of the South African people begins to reveal itself on our leaderboards, then we can see that in our success, there are many who are part of the birth of a new era, a new 5 years. Tonight is a time for the Commission to also express our tributes to all who have worked with us to reinforce our democracy and to celebrate our country's 6 successful national and provincial elections. While we express a clear salute to the millions of South Africans who turned up to vote, there are also other role players whose essential presence make up the electoral music. We thank our former Parliament and chairpersons and members of Portfolio and Select Committee for their support and assistance throughout our preparations, and especially for expediting the passing of amendments to electoral laws which were so necessary for these elections. We also express our appreciation to the Minister of Home Affairs then and to the chairperson of what was the Interministerial Committee on Elections, Dr. Twele. Our special thanks again to the security agencies, including the South African Police Services, the State Security Agency, and the various security structures for their vital, indispensable role that they played in securing these elections. And I'd like you to all give them a round of applause. We express our thanks and gratitude to various ministers and government departments who have assisted us in a myriad of ways, including, as you've heard, our Department of Home Affairs, the Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, our Department of International Relations and Cooperation. We thank all of you. We also want to express thanks to our longtime sponsors and strategic partners in the telecommunications sector, Telkom, for their ongoing support. It is hugely, hugely appreciated by everybody who has had the opportunity not just to be in this room, but to benefit from what this place has got to offer. Our special appreciation to the SABC for enabling us to communicate with and to share the unfolding of the process and the results with the world at large. To ESCOM for working with us to light the way of our democracy. We thank you. To Vodacom for your support in boosting coverage here and at the voting stations around the country, sometimes in the most remote places, to assist us in communications and transmissions of results. We thank you for helping us in these endeavors. I know that I'm speaking on behalf of the Commission as a whole when I say a special thanks to our Statistician General, our SG, Mr. Maluleke and his team from Stats SA for their immediate and unhesitating assistance that they provided to us in order to undertake additional assurance processes in the form of an independent sample study. Thank you, SG. Thank you. To the diplomatic corps and the international community for your support and involvement, including the EU and the European Centre for Electoral Support, which has sponsored our conflict mediation program, which was invaluable in so many areas of this election. Thank you again. Thank you. To all of our observer missions, particularly those who have traveled, but equally those who have rooted themselves in every part of our country in local communities, our local observer missions, from the churches, from our foundations, from our civil society organizations, all of you, we really thank you and we value your counsel. We really appreciate your voluntary efforts, and we wish that you will join us along the journey of strengthening every part of this operation as we go forward. Thank you. To the CSIR, which also quickly and unhesitatingly responded to the call of our CEO to investigate and assess the indelible ink marker pens, and who has committed to working with us in the future to ensure huge improvements in this regard. To a number of our corporate sponsors, including Sasol and Uber, which provided free rides to voters, to famous brands that helped feed those volunteers that worked for long, long hours. We thank you, thank you, thank you. To members of civil society and the media, in particular Media Monitoring Africa, SANEF, and the social media platforms, including Facebook and Twitter, for working alongside us to combat digital disinformation. We were a world starter in this as an electoral management body, and we are going to use these lessons to strengthen our capacity and to share our experience with the world. Thank you. Thank you for your assistance. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, let me thank key participants in our electoral symphony, the media, the commentators, many of the commentators, the analysts, and the bloggers. Thank you for the vital role that you play in informing the electorate, in performing a watchdog role, and for your independence, which is sometimes a little uncomfortable, and for your impartiality and your vigor in promoting democracy. We want to say to you all, without a free press, there can be no democracy, and we call on everybody to enforce that component that underpins our time of elections at all times, to defend our media. Thank you to all of you in the media. To the political parties, their leaders, candidates, and their party agents, Thank you for cooperating. Thank you for supporting, and thank you for assisting us and the nation towards the achievement of a successful process. We are immeasurably grateful to those of you who engaged in a respectful, open, candid manner in many bilateral and multilateral engagements before and during these elections. That kind of multi-party cooperation is at the heart of what makes our democracy possible. We thank you in the name of all who cherish democracy in our country. To our 190,000 volunteers, our wonderful electoral staff, and our capable and committed leadership of the Electoral Commission in the form of our CEO, our EXCO, our provincial electoral officers. There are no words that can express our gratitude. Thank you. We want you to know that we are awed by your commitment, your enthusiasm for elections and democracy, and your ability to rise to the occasion, no matter what the circumstances, no matter what the challenges. I'm looking at many of you in front of me, and I am awed. Thank you to all of you. South Africa doesn't know how lucky they are to have you. Excuse me. And once again, to the voters and people of South Africa who continue to believe in democracy and continue to register and vote in elections in high numbers. We wish there were more of you. We want to work for more of you, but those who have turned out, we are hugely grateful. Without you and your participation, there can be no democracy. You are what is keeping the flame of freedom burning so brightly. Thank you all.
Thank you, Vice Chairperson. At this point in time, I am also going to ask the technology to cooperate with us just one last time whilst I feed your eyes. If you can please. Ladies and gentlemen, at that point, It is at this point that we rest the XA 2019 campaign. Thank you so much for being a wonderful audience. May I please ask you to release Our Excellency, the President of South Africa first. If you are wearing a green armband on your hand, you will be escorted.
Well, welcome back, and that is how this ceremony ends here at the Results Operations Centre in Gauteng, in Pretoria. The fireworks of the election, and dare I say some razzmatazz, brought to you by the Electoral Commission right at the end there. President Cyril Ramaphosa is beginning to leave here along with his entourage. So, just to recap, speeches by the President, quoting Nelson Mandela there, the founding President of Democratic South Africa, and quoting also from the Freedom Charter, generally seen as the founding document of our Constitution. Comments